I just got back from a trip to the Middle East. I went to a bunch of different countries in just a couple weeks, and I wanted to document my experience. I wanted to take photos. I haven't made a photography video since April, and I actually just realized my last video is actually doing pretty well, so I wanted to do something while I was gone. My plan was to take my Sony a6600 and see if that is a great travel camera. Long story short, I did not use that pretty much at all on the trip. Instead, I used my trusty iPhone XS. It fits in my pocket, it's run and gun, it's easy to use. And the new iPhone just came out and the cameras on that are supposed to be amazing. I haven't tested it, but I wanted to see if the iPhone XS can still hold up as a good photography camera in 2021. So I took a trip to the Middle East. I went to Jordan, I went to the United Arab Emirates, I went to Bahrain, and I went to Djibouti, which is on the Horn of Africa. I did this trip with the Armed Forces Entertainment Group. They send, various groups of athletes, musicians out to go and spend time with the troops on the bases that are deployed out there, providing entertainment. We ran diving clinics, sport clinics, ultimately just getting to see what they do. And it was an amazing experience. Since they were such busy days, I didn't use my Sony a6600 as much as I'd wanted to. But that being said, I did use it the first day when we stopped at an old Roman ruin in Jordan, and these are the photos I could get from that camera. Ultimately, I wasn't really happy with the photos I got from my actual camera, but now let's compare it to photos I got at the same location on my iPhone XS. Yes, the Sony camera is gonna get more detail. It's gonna provide a higher quality image, but I felt more creative with my iPhone. There's something about having that limitation of not being able to zoom in, not being able to control my f-stop, that made me shoot a little more creatively. Creative. You know what I'm talking about. And from that moment, I was so busy, didn't have time to bring around this camera with me. I just left my iPhone in my pocket, and when photo moments would come up, I would just pull out my iPhone, snap the shot, and put it back in my pocket and not think about it for the rest of the day. Now, do I wish I would have been able to use my Sony camera more on this trip? Absolutely, but I've talked about this in past videos. Every photographer has said this: the best camera is the one you have on you, and the iPhone XS was the camera I had on me at all times. Is the iPhone XS the sharpest image? No. Is it the best at color rendering? No. Is it a good camera? Yeah, it's good. It'll get the job done. And that's what I loved about it for this trip, is I was able to capture moments that I'm gonna be able to look back on and be really happy with. The photos are few and far between, but the photos I did get, I'm really pleased with. I love having those memories, having those moments that I can look back on. And it's not necessarily about the image quality, but rather about the composition, about the subject matter, about that scene. That's what I want to focus on, and that's what I want to be able to look back on. I could have shot the whole entire trip on a Hasselblad, medium format, whatever, and that would be great, but it wasn't necessary. Using the Sony camera wasn't necessary for the trip. And that's why I'm hoping to upgrade from this iPhone XS soon to the iPhone 13 Pro or something like that, so that the image quality can be a little better. But at the end of the day, it's more about the subject, about what you're capturing, about the vista, about the scene. And that's what I think is so cool about these photos, is it's not about the quality, it's about where I was, what I was seeing, and the fact that I got to capture that. So is the iPhone XS still a good camera in 2021? Yeah, I think it's more than enough if you're doing a trip like that and you're not focusing on the quality, but rather you just want to have something to capture those moments. Last year I did a walkthrough of the old town I lived in West Lafayette, Indiana, where I just shot street photos with my iPhone, and honestly, it was the same thing. The quality is not the best, but if you're capturing the moment, if you're able to see that story in the image, and this is what can help you capture that story, then it's more than enough for what you're doing. Now, would I go out and buy an iPhone XS just to take photos? Absolutely not. It's just what I had on me, and that's okay. use what you have. If you've got an iPhone XS, if you've got an iPhone 10, iPhone 7, iPhone 13, that's gonna be enough. Just focus on composition, focus on the story, and focus a lot on your edits. You can do a good edit on an image that's not the highest of quality. People aren't gonna be focusing on the amount of pixels you have if the image itself is good. So my fan just turned on. I don't know how to turn it off. New apartment problems. Tomorrow I'm heading off to New Orleans for my brother's bachelor party, and I'm gonna be bringing my 35mm Pepsi film camera with me, a couple rolls of film. I've already shot a video with that camera going over everything it does, all its specs, features, and how the film turned out. You can check out that video right up here. But I thought it'd be fun to take it for a bachelor party, a little boys trip to New Orleans, and we'll see what kind of shots we can get, and I'll be making a video about that. So I just wanna say thank you for watching this video. Again, main takeaway is use whatever camera you got on you. Just focus on what you're seeing, capture it, and then just edit it as best as you can. I don't love shooting with the iPhone XS. It's not amazing, but sometimes it's just the right camera to use. All right, I'm off to New Orleans. I'll see you guys in the next video.